Welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this next interview. The enthronement of Cardinal Grzegorz Ryś as the new Metropolitan Archbishop of Krakow marks a significant moment for the Catholic Church in Poland. Known for his pastoral style and openness to dialogue, Ryś may reshape church engagement with both the faithful and wider society. Joining us to explore what his leadership could mean for Krakow and beyond is Michał Kłosowski, a journalist and author with Catholic Voices. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, and thanks for having me here.
Can you help us understand what this appointment signals about the direction of the church in Poland?
Well, first of all, we need to remember that Krakow is not any local church in Poland. Krakow is one of the most important local churches in Poland, one of the most historically important because, John Paul II grew up there. And basically, that's the largest and the richest archdiocese in Poland. So that's a clear sign from Pope Leo XIV that there will be a new opening for the Polish church. And the appointment of Cardinal Grzegorz Ryś is very, very significant sign from the Vatican, the sign sent to the Polish church.
And do you expect him to get involved in things like the current political dispute? And do you see them having a different approach from his predecessors?
Well, look, Cardinal Ryś will be political, of course, because Catholicism is political. The aim of the religion is to change the world, to make it a better place. And from that point of view, I think Cardinal Ryś will be very political, but in a very different sense that we used to think about the political issues here in Poland and elsewhere. Because Cardinal Ryś is a moral authority. He is a very respectful person, not only within the Catholic Church, but also, for example, abroad, in a sense, even the diaspora, Polish diaspora, likes him very much. That's one thing. And the second thing is, when he speaks, he's speaking about morality, ethics, not only political things like, conflicts between different parties or people. So he will be political, but on a very different level, a different sense than we used to think about being political.
Can you break that down for us a little bit, a different sense, and how does that differ, and what can we expect to see?
Well, look, Cardinal Grzegorz Ryś is named by my American friends back in Rome. He's called as John Paul III. So basically, he's very well known abroad, in Vatican as well, in Rome. But also, his faith is deeply rooted in gospel. And that's why the way how he will be political will be much more closer to a very classical Christian way of thinking about being political. Because the basic information, the basic issue for Catholics being political is to make the world a better place. And the common good is the most important part of all of it. On that level, Cardinal Ryś will be political. He won't be, playing with parties, people, conflicts. That's not the way how he is. He will be speaking on the moral level and having the authority of being a cardinal, which is the highest title in Catholic Church, first of all. And the second, being a head of the most important archdiocese in Poland, it will give him a lot of power to reshape the dialogue, not only in Krakow, not only in the church, but also abroad, like outside the church. And that's why I'm saying that his way of being political will be much more different than we used to see the political issues right now. He will be speaking about morality, ethics, common good, a proper sense of being political, not only about conflicts, playing one versus another. That's the way how he is. He is focused on the gospel, not on the conflicts.
Right. Do you think he's the kind of person that the Polish Church needs right now, and what kind of challenges do you think he can help navigate?
Well, when we are speaking about the challenges of Catholic Church right now in Poland, there's a lot of them. There is a plenty of reports, surveys, and data like showing that Poland is the fastest secularizing country in Europe. So there will be plenty of issues. He will, and definitely he is aware of all of them. But I would say that one of the most important things that he possibly can start with will be reshaping the local church, because he's very well known as being very demanding and very tough when we are speaking about the priesthood, when we are speaking about the priests and the formation of priests. And I think that he will start from that. He will be trying to reshape the local church, and he will be working with priests, helping them, of course, because that's why he's very well known. He's not only a leader who is demanding leader, but he's like this kind of a leader who is working with his priests in the diocese. That's how it was in Łódź, and I think that's how it's gonna be in Krakow as well. And basically, he already started that because before his, taking the chair of Krakow, he started with retreats for local priests. So I think that that's gonna be his first call. That he will be trying to, reshape the dialogue between the local curia and the priests who are responsible for the parishes and the diocese. And I think it's also very important for the Polish church, not only a local Krakow level, but also brighter.
All right, you just compared him to John Paul II, saying that some people even call him like John Paul III. I'm curious whether or not you think he would also become one of those inspirational figures for the Polish Catholic youth.
Look, he already is. A friend of mine gave me a book by Cardinal Ryś about, the prayer. And to be honest, I do have this book in here, but I won't be showing it. We are broadcasting. And he already is a very influential person for the Polish youth. There is plenty of images with him in train with very young pilgrims, like just laying on the ground with some pilgrims in Jasna Góra, etc., etc. But he's called by those American friends of mine back in Rome as a John Paul III, not because he is very well connected with young people and intellectual life, because he's starting every day with prayer. The first thing he's doing, he's kneeling and praying. And that's why he's, for many, similar to John Paul II, and being named John Paul III. Because he's deeply rooted in gospel, and that's where he found his faith. So, first of all, I think that he's gonna be priest and father for local priesthood, and then he will be the leader of the church.
Right. You also mentioned he is sort of a no-nonsense kind of guy, very carry himself in a very authoritative kind of way. How do you think this leadership style might influence relation between the church hierarchy and lay Catholics?
Today there was a press conference in Krakow, during which Cardinal Ryś himself said that he was always thinking about the church as like a community of people, not only priests, but also lay people. And I think, and he was underlying it many times, he's gonna be working hand to hand with laity. Also because, the number of priests is going down in Poland, young priests, that's first thing. The second thing, there is this kind of light renaissance right now in Poland, more or less, because there is a lot of people who just want to be engaged and involved into church, into local church, especially in Krakow. He's being appointed as Archbishop of Krakow 10 years after World Youth Days in Krakow, which were in 2016. Basically, that's a very good moment to reshape how the church could work. That's the first thing. And the second thing, those who were volunteers, teenagers back then, 10 years ago, during World Youth Days in Krakow, now they're grown-up people, and they can take care of what's happening in local church. So I would say that he will be much more open for the laity than the previous Archbishop of Krakow was.
Right. And last but not least, you pointed out to some challenge earlier, and one of it, I think, is the secularization of Polish population. Do you think that's a kind of trend that could be reversed?
Well, that's a very good question. Thanks for that. I do not. I think that there is no answer for that. Basically, secularization is something which is happening across Europe, Asia, etc., etc. 2 weeks ago, I came back from India, and I spoke with some people over there, and they said that the secularization is happening also there, not among Christians or Catholics, but Hindu people and Buddhists. So basically, this question, there is no proper answer for this question, but I would say there is one unique thing in Polish society. Our country, our culture is rooted in Christianity. Poland has been made when the first Prince of Poland has been baptized. And I think that this kind of heritage is still here, is still in Polish culture. And basically, I would say that Cardinal Ryś is aware of that as well. So definitely, he will be trying to work with young people, with laity. He's a historian as well. So basically, he knew how the things work. And I would say that this appointment was very well welcome in Krakow, but not only there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it. And thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.